Hello, welcome back. It's not delivery day today, but my manifold and downpipe kit from ea855evo Performance have arrived some days ago. I've had the opportunity to have a quick look around it. There are some things that are good, there are some things that are not so good, and that's what I'm going to show you today. So without further ado, I think we'll just dive straight into it and have a look, and we'll just start tearing it apart. Let's go. So here it is all laid out on the kitchen floor. You can see obviously there's the downpipe. It's fairly lightweight construction. It's the true 4-inch, and there's the wastegate connection there as well. There's the slip-on downpipe, which I will be modifying to include a 4-inch valve that dumps to the floor. So when I want to run full power I can. It needs the manifold and the turbo, which is not part of the kit, that's from HPT, those of you who've seen that before. The first thing to note is I like to go inside and just check the welds. There's no real sign of any sugaring, looks like there's full penetration there. It's not exactly smooth around the edges, but the flow's coming out this way, so that shouldn't matter. As I say, there's no real signs of sugaring, so you can tell that it's been back purged really well. Let's have a look down here. They look okay. I might need to check the sizes of those to see if I need to port match them to my engine, because my cylinder head has been ported. Look around the back of it. I mean, I'm not an expert welder. I'm not even a welder. They're not the greatest welds, but they're good. They're good enough. One thing I would like to check though is if you look at the face of the flange there. I mean, it hasn't been machined. You can see the grind marks from a flap wheel, I think. So if we put that on there, this is my not so straight edge, and I can actually see daylight through there. So I mean, it's only a couple of thousandths maybe, but maybe that's something you should look at in the future, because I'm going to have to get that skinned now. Otherwise, I mean, it might seal with the manifold gasket that's kind of compressible on there, but I wouldn't be. I don't want to take that chance. I'd just get that skinned before I fit it. Now we'll get into the technical stuff. So, got my trusty piece of paper here. Now, if you're going to build a manifold the proper way, these individual runners all need to be the same length, which is why they take strange routes. So I have measured these, and they're not far off actually. They're not perfect, but they're not far off. So we've got runner 1. No, sorry, that's how it's going to sit on the car from that end, isn't it? It goes on that way. So we've got runner 1, that comes in at 39 centimetres. Runner 2 comes in at 38. Runner 3 comes in at 38. Runner 4 comes in at 38. And runner 5, you can clearly see that's the longest, that comes in at 41. Now the other way to check if a manifold is being built properly is to check the way that the runners come into here. Now, these runners want to be aligned in the collector in the firing order, aligned in a circle, which will increase the scavenging effect of the manifold. So the firing order of a 5-cylinder is 1, 2, 4, 5, 3. So you'll want to see 1, 2, 4, 5, 3, and you want to see it firing like that, round in a circle, which helps the exhaust flow better. So the runner 1 comes in here. runner 2 comes in just below it, which is spot on, 1, 2. The next runner that comes in here, and that's number 4. So already we've got 1, 2, 4. The next runner in the firing order is 5, is this one, comes in just above runner 4. So 1, 2, 4, 5, and 3 comes in on top. So that's perfect. 1, 2, 4, 5, 3. Yeah, so that's perfect. It comes in the sequential fire. It comes in the sequential firing order. 1, 2, 4, 5, 3. So that is perfect. Number 5 comes in a little late. Number 1 comes in a little bit early. So it's going to negate the scavenging effect. However, I don't personally think it's that important on a turbocharged vehicle. It's only really important on a naturally aspirated vehicle. You see, because say I'm running 3-bar boost in the cold side of the turbo. In order for it to get to 3-bar boost on the cold side of the turbo, compressed air going into the engine, and it never runs lower than 1-to-1 compression on here, this is going to have to be at least 3-bar. So it's running 3-bar exhaust pressure in here between the turbo and the engine. So there is no scavenging effect there. There can't be, because basically the inside of here is blowing up almost like a balloon. You don't get any scavenging effect from that. There's a backlog of exhaust pulses, because you want the exhaust pulses to reach here at exactly the same time. So the ideal manifold would be 39 centimeters, 39 centimeters, 39 centimeters, 39 centimeters, 39 centimeters, and 1, 2, 4, 5, 3, 1, 2, 4, 5, 3. I don't think that really matters in the turbocharged vehicle. So I'm not too worried about that. So that's what's good with it. The exhaust flange is what's not really good with it. Other than that, it looks pretty good. They told me that these are 3mm thick, and I'd have to NDT test it and work that out, because it's all ground back in there. It is nice and smooth, but the only issue was the old spec of the manifold that they did was a 14mm wastegate. I wasn't really happy about that, because the 14mm I thought was going to be too small. It might give me boost creep, especially when driving it on the road. But I wasn't too bothered when using ethanol, because I wanted high boost anyway. However, when I tried to fit the 40mm Turbo Smart wastegate, it wouldn't fit because it was too small. So I contacted David of ea855evo Performance, and he told me that they'd changed to a 44mm. Slight mix up in communication, not really a big thing. They always get back to me within a couple of hours. They're really, really responsive on the messages. Now for the other issue is, if you see this here, that is the inlet to the turbine side of the turbo. Now, take a mental note of that. Do you see any issues here? And that is the next issue that I've had. So when I spec'd the manifold with David of ea855evo Performance, I asked for a T4. We all agreed it. He said it was a new bolt pattern on the T4. Great. Fantastic. That's going to bolt straight up. When it got here, it was a V-band. So I messaged him straight back, and I said, David, you've sent me a V-band. And he said, I know, yeah, that's how they come. I said, no, we agreed in the emails you were going to spec me a T4. And he said, yeah, I did expect you a T4 V-band. Now, what the fuck is a T4 V-band? His argument was, it's a T4 size turbo with a V-band, but that's not how it works in the turbo world. What makes it a T4 is the T4 flange. That's what you're speccing. A T4 size turbo is not a thing. You go off the size of the V-band, so you say I want a V-band discharge and I want it to be a 3-inch. That's the way it goes. So that's the only issue I've had. Thankfully, I've got a really good relationship with HPT Turbo and Alyssa there. sent me out stainless steel V-band turbine housing. Now, I spec this as a 1.24 sized AR because I didn't want it to be choking up at high RPMs, especially with 200 horsepower worth of nitrous on, because I built my car for half mile and top speed events, standard mile, so I'm going to be at 8,000 RPM running 1500 horsepower, chucking massive amounts of exhaust gas down the turbine, so I didn't want it choking up. However, I've got street weekend in June and I'm going to be doing a lot of street driving between the strips, even though it's not built for drag racing. So I've got a 0.960R turbine housing because I'm going to be driving it on the road and I want a bit of spool. So I made a bit of a compromise there. However, when I do the top speed events, I'll just change that out for the 1.240R turbine housing. So there's been a few issues. Here's the downpipe. Again, decent welds in there. There's a bit of, stringy bits of wire and stuff hanging off really where it hasn't been ground out properly. The welds are okay, better than I could do. Not amazing, but again, as I say, this is a prototype one. Got a nice expansion joint there for the external manifold, and we've got plenty of lambda bungs, which is ideal because I've for mapping, so you can shot an external lambda in there. And we've got, which rule of thumb is, you have expansion joint about a foot from the turbine, so it's all pretty good there. So overall, I'm quite pleased with it really. Beggars can't be choosers at the moment. I don't have any money coming in. Unfortunately, my father died recently, about 2 weeks ago, and I gave up my job to look after my mum and dad and everything else that was going on at the time. So I'm not in work at the moment. So I've got to be careful what I spend my savings on. And this came up at the perfect time for me. They've asked me not to say the price. However, what I can say is, and I gave my word that I wouldn't say the price, so I won't. However, what I can say is, if you go to HPT's website and look up the price of the F3 7675 turbo, it cost half what that cost delivered to my door in the UK. So that's an easy one for you to work out. It's not going to be that price for anybody else because mine was the prototype, like I said. But it's not perfect, but for the money it's good. Will it last on the car? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. It's the only thing on my car from China. So if it doesn't last, it doesn't last. When I start working again, I'll get someone like Overkill or someone to do me a sidewinder manifold and I'll redo it all from there. Let's say you wanted to buy a 76, 75 turbo kit in the box, ready to fit with all the fittings, all the lines, ready to just bolt on from JDY. You're probably looking the thick end of £8,000 maybe. And then you've got 20% import tax on that as well. So, maybe 10 grand by the time you get it to your door. IRO's probably not much different. This one, all in by the time it's on the car with the turbo, the downpipe, the manifold, everything all fitted up, all the lines. You've probably paid £4,000 for it all in. So you can't really whinge about that. But the price you pay for that is you buy these pieces from all over the world, they arrive, and then you just pray that they all fit. Sometimes they don't, so you have to send them back. On top of that, you don't get your oil lines, you have to make those up, which brings me to my next point. So if you are going to cobble together your own kit from all over the world, you'll want to get these from Bartek. Right? Bartek has loads of trick little bits like these. And these are the billet, oil and water lines. They fit like the standard fitment do, but they are AN4 and AN6. AN6 on the water side and AN4 on the oil side. They allow you to do custom oil and water lines that fit in the stock locations and make up your own water and oil lines that just bolt onto here, and you can take those to the turbo, or in my case, my turbo's oil cooled, so I don't need the water. So I was going to just blank that off with a cap, but my wastegate is water cooled, and if I'm doing 220 miles an hour, 9,000 RPM, I want that wastegate cooling down, so I'm going to use that to cool the wastegate with a water feed. These are about $20 each, and the AN6 lines, the AN4 lines and everything you can get off eBay for about $30–50. So yeah, that's it really. The Audi is out there, it's just chilling. It runs and drives, it's all working fine after the little head disaster, bent valve scenario that we had, the LGBTQA+ valve situation. They've all been straightened out, and the car is running fine. It is just chilling outside, and I'm not going to drive that much, especially hard, because I don't want to bother it before street weekend. I so want to do street weekend. I don't want to cause the car any more issues, and I can't afford to fix it if it breaks again. So in time I'll fit the turbo kit to it, but it is staying there until it needs mapping. And that's the end of another one. I hope you learned something, and I hope you like my Donald Trump slippers, because I do. They were a gift to me from my stepdaughter Ebony, and yeah, I will keep you updated on any developments in the car. The next one's probably going to be the fuel system. I won't show you the install, I'll just talk you through when it's done, and then after that, hopefully, fingers crossed, will be the mapping. So thank you, see you on the next one.